Void subclasses are incredibly strong this season in Destiny 2. The new Orbs of Power mod system greatly benefits every Void subclass, and our current seasonal artifact perks take any Void build to the next level. Today we'll be going over an incredibly strong Void Titan build and the absolute sleeper exotic that makes it all possible. This build offers unlimited healing and overshields from our subclass while simultaneously decimating everything that's in front of us. My name is Gray. If you find today's video helpful, a like and sub is greatly appreciated. Now let's get into it. You may be familiar with Void Titan already, but since the launch of Lightfall, there is a particular exotic weapon that has completely flown under the radar, and it pairs incredibly with this build. I'm of course talking about the Wave Splitter exotic trace rifle. This weapon has the trait Harmonic Laser, where the weapon oscillates between 3 different power levels while the trigger is held down. However, the intrinsic perk Supercharged Battery is what makes this weapon so powerful now. Collecting an Orb of Power grants a period of maximum damage that starts with an automatic reload. Sustained fire in this mode suppresses targets. Suppression is a Void debuff that now stuns Overload champions and will synergize with our Void subclass and Fragments. I really can't overstate how powerful this weapon is now. Our entire build crafting system revolves around Orbs of Power, and ourselves as well as our allies are constantly creating orbs from our abilities, weapons, and artifact perks, making it possible to have nearly 100% uptime on Supercharged Battery. This perk grants between a 25 to 30% damage increase to the weapon on its own, and will stack with our Void Weapon Surge mods as well as Weapons of Light from Ward of Dawn. Our build today is going to revolve around sustaining max damage out of Wave Splitter while also never running out of ammo, and activating Devour at the same time to give us godlike levels of survivability. Our first aspect for Void Titan will be Bastion. Casting your super grants nearby allies an overshield. Casting your Barricade grants overshield to yourself and nearby allies, and allows our Barricade to regenerate those overshields over time when you stand nearby. This locks our Barricade cooldown regardless of which option you are running, so use whatever you prefer, but we'll be using this as often as we can for a free overshield and to empower our other abilities. Our second aspect is Offensive Bulwark. While you have an overshield or are inside Ward of Dawn, your grenade recharges faster, you have increased melee range and damage, and melee final blows extend the duration of your overshield. These two aspects together make our overshield much more valuable, so we'll want to maintain it as much as possible. For this purpose, I also recommend taking the shield throw melee, as this will generate a portion of overshield for each target that it hits, and that allows us to reap the benefits of both of our aspects while we are on the move. We have 3 fragment slots for this build, the first of which will be Echo of Domineering. After suppressing a target, you gain greatly increased mobility, and your equipped weapon is reloaded from reserves. Defeating a suppressed target creates a Void Breach, which grants us class ability energy on pickup by default. Wave Splitter will be suppressing nearly every target that it touches for any amount of time, so we'll be creating Void Breaches constantly on cooldown while also having 2 different methods of auto-reloading Wave Splitter at the same time. We then take Echo of Starvation, where picking up a Void Breach or Orb of Power grants Devour. This fragment is insane now. There will be Void Breaches and Orbs of Power scattered everywhere you look during combat, giving us a nearly unlimited source of Devour. Devour itself heals us to full health when we defeat a target, grants us grenade energy, which a lot of people forget about, and extends the timer of our current Devour buff. Paired with Wave Splitter, this combination gives us constant healing and a reliable source of grenade and class ability energy. Our final fragment is Echo of Undermining, and this allows our Void grenades to weaken targets. This applies a 15% Void debuff to targets, and when paired with Supercharged Battery from Wave Splitter, our Void Surge armor mods, and Ward of Dawn, allows us to put out some incredible damage from our Trace Rifle alone. Now, before we dive into our weapons and mods, I want to go over the artifact perks that you'll want to use with this build in the current season. This build will still work great without these in the future, but if you aren't using them now, you're just throwing. You'll start by taking Authorized Mods Void and Authorized Mods Grenades. This lowers the cost of nearly every armor mod we will be using, giving us much more room to flush out the build. We will then take Volatile Flow, which will grant our Void weapons volatile rounds for 12 seconds whenever we pick up an Orb of Power. This now means that every time we pick up an orb, we will be taking Wave Splitter to its highest damage form via Supercharged Battery. We will also get volatile rounds on all of our Void weapons, activate our Void Surge armor mods, and proc Devour all at the same time. It's insane. We will then take Shatter Orbs, which creates additional orbs every time we break an elemental shield with matching damage. This can generate ridiculous amounts of orbs in most of our seasonal activities thanks to the plethora of void shields on enemies this season. And finally, Bricks from Beyond will allow us to generate a ton of heavy ammo bricks by simply defeating powerful enemies with void weapons. Combined with the fact that Wave Splitter is a special weapon and already has a higher chance of spawning heavy ammo on kills, we'll be raining heavy bricks all over the battlefield. I like to use a double special weapon loadout with this build, and taking a Chill Clip Fusion in our kinetic slot will allow us to deal with any other type of champion we come up against. Our armor mods will allow us to generate special ammo constantly, so you can definitely get away with double special weapons, but feel free to use a primary weapon here instead if you find yourself running out of ammo. I recommend 100 Resilience and 100 Discipline to grant us max damage resistance and keep our ability cooldowns as short as possible. We are using the Heart of Inmost Light exotic chest here, which will empower all of our abilities as we use them and reduce their cooldowns at the same time. This allows us to have constant access to our overshield from our barricade and the weaken debuff from our grenade. Now moving on to our armor mods, we will start by taking Harmonic Siphon on our helmet, Firepower on our arms, and Reaper on our class item. This will allow us to reliably create orbs of power from our weapon multi-kills, grenades, and on our next weapon kill after dropping our barricade respectively. We then take Special Ammo Finder on our helmet to help with ammo economy, one copy of Void Scavenger on our legs, and one copy of Void Reserves on our chest to ensure that we always have ammo for Wave Splitter. I also take Special Finisher on my class item, which will allow us to consume 3 stacks of armor charge to create special ammo bricks when we perform a finisher if needed. We then take Momentum Transfer and Bolstering Detonation on our arms, both of which will help feed us extra ability energy just for using our abilities. We will take Charged Up on our chest to increase our maximum armor charges up to 4, 2 copies of Void Weapon Surge on our legs for a 17% void weapon damage increase, and Time Dilation on our class item to extend the duration of our armor charges. Round this out with any stat and resist mods that you deem necessary, and you'll be all set. You can use the dim link in the description below to copy this subclass and armor mod setup directly to your character and game. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button for me. This Void Titan build makes for an incredible pairing with the Wave Splitter exotic trace rifle. You can run a similar setup on just about any Void subclass and find amazing results. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not already, consider subscribing below for more build guides just like this, and turn on notifications so you don't miss whenever we're live. Channel memberships are now live as well and will grant you access to exclusive emotes and membership badges in the comments section on videos and in chat during live streams. That's it for me. I hope you enjoy the build, and I will see you in the next one.